Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour. India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi offers prayers at Sri Ranganathaswamy Temple in Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. Takes blessing from Gajraj in the temple premises. An Israeli airstrike on Syrian capital Damascus kills 4 members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, reports say. US President Joe Biden holds discussions with Netanyahu on the two-state solution in a telephonic conversation, affirms the possibility of a Palestinian state. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered prayers at Sri Ranganathaswamy Temple in Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. PM also took blessing from Gajraj, an elephant inside the temple premises. The temple is one of the most ancient temple complexes in the country and finds mention in various ancient texts, including the Purans and the Sangamira text. It is famous for its architectural grandeur and its numerous iconic gopurams. PM also took blessings of the main deity Sri Ranganathaswamy, a reclining form of Bhagwan Vishnu. Vaishnav scriptures mention the connection between the idol worshipped in this temple and Ayodhya. It is believed that the image of Vishnu, which used to be worshipped by Sri Ram and his ancestors, was given by him to Vibhishan to take it to Lanka. PM also participated in a program at Sri Ranganathaswamy Temple in Tiruchirappalli. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also listens to the verses of the Kamba Ramayana at the Sri Rangam Temple. One of the very old versions of Ramayana is Kamba Ramayana, composed by the great Tamil poet Kamban in the 12th century. Sri Ranganathaswamy Temple has a deep connection with the Kamba Ramayana. It was at this very temple that Kamban first publicly presented his Ramayana and won the hearts of the people.
Annavarke sarannangale
And according to a report, Israel launched a missile strike on Syria's capital Damascus, killing 4 members of Iran's Revolutionary Guards and wounding others. It was stated that a precision-guided missile struck a multi-story building in the neighborhood of Mazeh in Syrian capital Damascus. The report added that the strike targeted the multi-story building as it was used by Iranian advisors supporting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government. The Israeli army released aerial footage that is set to show the activity and strikes against Hamas targets in the Strip. The Israeli army said on Saturday that the ground troops, supported by the Air Force and Israeli Navy, are continuing to strike and destroy Hamas infrastructure and weapons throughout the Gaza Strip. Several rocket launchers, which according to the army were used to launch at Israeli territory, were also struck, along with infrastructure said to belong to Hamas. US President Joe Biden said he had a conversation with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday regarding potential alternatives for the establishment of an independent state for the Palestinians, keeping in mind that not every nation has its own armed forces. The White House stated that Biden and Netanyahu had their first phone conversation in almost a month and that the two leaders discussed ways to secure the remaining hostages held by Hamas and to further facilitate humanitarian aid to Gaza. Biden said Israeli Prime Minister did not oppose all two-state solutions and there are a number of other possibilities. Listen in.
There are a number of types of two-state solutions. There's a number of countries that are members of the UN that are still don't have their own military. A number of states that have limitations on it. And so I think there's ways in which this could work.
And U.S. Central Command forces on Friday conducted strikes against 3 Houthi anti-ship missiles that were aimed into the southern Red Sea. The U.S. military on social media platform X said that U.S. forces identified the missiles in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen and determined that they presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels and the U.S. Navy ships in the region. U.S. forces subsequently struck and destroyed the missiles in self-defense. The latest incident took place around 15:45 GMT on Friday. Now indicating that significant policy changes were required, U.S. President Joe Biden stated on Friday that he is hopeful that the U.S.-Mexico border will work out next week, at least in the Democratic-controlled Senate. Republicans in Congress have blocked Ukraine's emergency funds in an attempt to impose extra border security measures. They blame the surge of immigrants into the U.S. on Biden's policies.
My team has been at the table for weeks now with a bipartisan group of senators to negotiate a deal, including border, because I believe we need significant policy changes at the border, including changes in our asylum system to ensure that we have the authorities we need to control the border. And I'm ready to act.
And in an effort to reduce an unprecedented migrant surge at the U.S.-Mexico shared border, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Mexico's Foreign Minister Alicia Bárcena. Friday's meeting follows previous talks in late December last year, which Blinken stated had seen great progress. Last year, a record number of migrants attempted to cross the U.S.-Mexico border illegally. More than 500,000 migrants crossed the dangerous Darien Gap from South America into Central America.
Also, since our last meeting, I think a very significant development in President Arevalo being inaugurated in Guatemala. This opens an important new area for cooperation on migration between our 3 countries. And we will continue to work together more broadly to develop regional solutions to the historic challenge that we face. But in all of this, our partnership, our work together, could not be more valuable, more important.
U.S. Senator Tim Scott endorsed frontrunner Donald Trump for another term at the White House at a rally in New Hampshire on Friday night. Republican Senator Tim Scott's endorsement of his former rival Trump comes as a blow to Nikki Haley. Tim Scott had campaigned against Donald Trump for the Republican presidential nomination. The move by Scott comes just 4 days before the pivotal Republican nominating contest in New Hampshire, in which Trump is facing off against Haley, a former South Carolina governor who first appointed Scott to the U.S. Senate. Scott is the latest conservative U.S. lawmaker to endorse Trump, who won Iowa's caucus on Monday by a historic margin.
Tremendous numbers of endorsements. They're pouring in right now. But having Tim is very important. So now is the time, and you see that through what was just said, for the Republican Party to unify. We have to unify. We have to go after these crazy people that we're dealing with.
A Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley's supporters flocked to New Hampshire to watch the former South Carolina governor campaign in New Hampshire. Haley is campaigning throughout the state before next Tuesday's GOP primary. Haley is feverishly trying to close the gap as the state is widely seen as one of her best shots to score a win of the former president and keep her campaign hopes alive. And Republican presidential candidate and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that there's a segment of the Republican voter base that don't want to do the Trump thing again, but who bought into the idea of inevitability during a campaign on Friday in New Hampshire. DeSantis came in a distant second to former President Donald Trump in Monday's Iowa caucuses, the first Republican presidential nominating contest.
Look, I'm not a political prognosticator. Here's the deal. Republican voters, we saw in Iowa, half wanted him, half didn't, roughly. The turnout was abysmal. There's terrible enthusiasm right now based off that result. We'll see what happens here. And I think it's because you have some folks on our side who don't want to do the Trump thing again. And they checked out. And they checked out of the caucus. These were folks we were courting to be able to come out. And they didn't, because I think they bought into the idea of the inevitability.
All right, we'll slip into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. India's Ayodhya city is all decked up as the inauguration of the Grand Ram Temple nears. Japan becomes the 5th country to put a spacecraft on the moon, but the probe was not generating solar power.
तहज़ीबे गंगा जमुनिये कहती है देश की हनुमान चालीसा भी हो और हो अज़ान भी.
Invitation sent to Muslim community is a meaningful gesture that signifies religious harmony and inclusivity. This act reflects an effort to involve and include individuals from diverse religious backgrounds in the shared cultural and social fabric of the community.
ये अयोध्या नगरी है, यहाँ धर्म जात की लड़ाई नहीं है. हर एक हिंदू का कार्यक्रम हो, मुसलमान के का जो है कार्यक्रम हो, एक दूसरे के लोग सहयोग में हमेशा रहते हैं, आज भी है. धार्मिक कार्यक्रम है, उसमें हमको बुलाया गया है, हम भी जाएंगे, हम भी खुश हैं क्योंकि हमारे अयोध्या का कार्यक्रम है.
The Muslim shopkeepers and the broader Muslim community in Ayodhya are not only preparing for the consecration of the Sri Rama Temple, but also actively seeking religious harmony in the city.
जिस तरह हम लोग दीपावली में तैयारी करते हैं, उसी तरह 22 जनवरी को तैयारी करने की उम्मीद रखते हैं और जहां से भी कोशिश होगी वहां से फूल हम लोग मंगाएंगे.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Now we get you all the buzz surrounding the consecration of the Ram Temple at Ayodhya on 22nd January. Ayodhya is all decked up for the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram on January 22nd. Preparations are on full swing and people from across the country thronged on the streets to celebrate the occasion. DD India's Meghna Dev gets us more on this.
If you see right behind me, I am in Ayodhya, and this is the beauty of Ayodhya, the way Ayodhya has been decked up. This is the Surya Stamp depicting the sun, and when we actually see that this place has been decorated with all lamps, lights, flowers and much more, and Ayodhya has been decorated just like it's a festival, and undoubtedly the people here are actually waiting for the ceremony, the consecration ceremony that will be happening on 22nd of January, and the preparation of which are in their last lap, and the preparations are going on in full swing. I'll bring to you what's in there in Ayodhya, the place where all this, if we can say, all the festivities are happening, and it's decked up beautifully, adorned with lights, adorned with flowers and much more. Let's bring you what's in store in Ayodhya.
Now we'll take you to some exclusive visuals of the magnificent Ram Temple. In fact, inside the Ram Temple and in the heart of Ayodhya, where history seamlessly intertwines with spirituality, a monumental transformation is underway. The craftsmanship is awe-inspiring, a testament to India's rich cultural heritage. So these are the exclusive visuals from inside the Ram Temple. The consecration ceremony is scheduled to be held on 22nd January, that is Monday. And the preparations for the consecration ceremony of the Ram idol at Ayodhya Temple are on at full swing. The large-scale rituals and events commenced on January 16th with a 51-inch idol of Lord Ram set to be consecrated on January 22nd. At the Ram Temple on January 19th, a Yagya fire pit was prepared, guided by Vedic mantras and special methods. A ritual of profound significance for devotees has been performed. On Saturday, the Sanctum Sanctorum of Ram Mandir will undergo purification with water from various rivers. And ahead of the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram in Ayodhya Temple, Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Teerth Kshetra Trust released the entry pass for the mega event. Entry to the temple would be allowed after scanning the QR code mentioned in the entry pass. The invitation card alone doesn't guarantee entry in this ceremony. And one of the most expensive Ramayana, which costs around $2,000 and weighs 45 kilograms, reached Ayodhya. In line with the Ram Temple, the outer box of the holy book has 3 floors made of American walnut wood. The ink use has been imported from Japan and the paper is made in France. The specialty of this paper is that this book will remain like this for about 400 years and its printing will not fade, and people of 4 generations can read this book comfortably. And amid the surge of enthusiasm among people for the consecration ceremony of Ram Temple in Ayodhya, the premises were decked up with flowers. Over 1,100 tons of flowers were brought to decorate the temple for the D-Day on January 22nd. All right, let's go across live to Ayodhya, where DD India's Meghna Dev is joining us. Meghna, Ayodhya is sparkling and glittery ahead of the consecration ceremony. We saw your reports also. Tell us about the security and preparations first, and how's the atmosphere there?
Definitely, first of all, the preparations are in full swing in their last phase ahead of the ceremony on the 22nd of January. We definitely see there's a lot of buzz and enthusiasm in people, specifically because, you know, they want to be in and around Ayodhya during this time when it's so festive in here. There is a vibe that is completely so spiritual that, you know, you can actually, through the visuals, our audience can also sense it, that how spiritual this place has become. And it's in the air, and, you know, people are chanting Jai Sri Ram in every nook and corner you go in Ayodhya. And, you know, number of pilgrims have also come here. But the thing is that, you know, because of the VIP movement and because of all the preparations that are going on, it has become like a lot of people are coming here. Has become definitely a little bit of an issue to manage the crowd. But having said that, the preparations are going on continuously in full swing. We also do see, as we have shown in our visuals, number of flower decorations. Different decorations have been murals on the walls, paintings on the walls. We see different, you know, rangolis and whatnot have adorned you know, are actually enhancing the beauty of what Ayodhya already is. And besides that, when we see the Saryu Aarti, when we see all the practice for the laser show going on, there's a lot of, and all the saints and all the people who are from different walks of life, different ages, you know, have coming here to see what's going, you know, around Ayodhya. So that's also very enchanting. Besides that, also, you know, You see a lot of people in and around here, obviously, having a cup of tea and discussing what's going on in Ayodhya, in the evening specifically. So a lot is going on here and people are enjoying themselves. Specifically in the evening, it goes even more vibrant when we talk about in terms of people who sit around, sip a cup of tea and discuss the upcoming event on the 22nd of January. So there's a lot of buzz, and obviously it's a bustling city, and definitely when it's so festive here in Ayodhya, the vibe is even more, we can say, more festive, and all the colors specifically are here for one to see.
And also, Meghna, I mean, you're there. Did you speak to the people also there? They must be very excited. I mean, they're taking it as their victory. What are they saying? People of Ayodhya, I mean, yes, everyone is excited about it, but yes, especially, how are they reacting? What are they saying? You must have spoken to them.
So definitely the reactions, a number of people who are the residents of Ayodhya, when we speak to them, they are very emotional about the fact. And a number of people we have been speaking have actually had a lump down their throat while they speak to us. They become so emotional about the event that's happening on the 22nd of January. They share anecdotes with us that how it was earlier, how much of a trouble and how much of a struggle that they had to face about different the struggle that is over 5 centuries, and their ancestors used to tell them stories about the Ram Temple. So all of this, they have it. They have heard it from their ancestors. They know more stories, and seeing it happening in front of their eyes, which once was just a dream for them, is definitely something worth mentioning. And they definitely mentioned that to us. A number of pilgrims who have come from different places of India, and some have also come from outside the country. They have also been saying that they had been waiting for this moment, and the moment has finally come. So that's what they're really excited about, and that's what when they were children, probably the people in the 90s who were children then and are now in their 20s now, are expressing how delighted they are to see it. We have been meeting a number of vloggers, a number of people who are very active on social media, trying to put in every video or everything that they know and they've seen in and around Ayodhya at this point of time. Everybody in the world who knows about Lord Ram, who knows about the Ram Temple, wants to know what's the buzz in Ayodhya, and that's what people are putting out on social media and reaching out with number of views also to people across the globe. Besides that, one important thing here, Abhishek, is that a number of we can say security arrangements have been put in place. Like I'm here near Janki Ghat, and here also you can see there are police personnel who are here deployed, and these people are here since morning till the evening, and every nook and corner. So this is a very remote area. It's not even near, very near to the Ram Temple, or it's not very nearby, if we can say, at other places. But definitely we see that here also the work is going on. Security has been kept uptight, and also the sanitation workers are working round the clock. All the Swachhta campaign, all the sanitation work is also going on continuously here at this place. So we definitely see everything that has been kept in place for the important day ahead of the 22nd of January. And we see not only the security preparations in terms of
right, Meghna, like you said,
the UP police, the state police, and much more has been kept in place so that just because we have just a few days, we can say a few hours for the main ceremony that's to be held on 22nd of January. So a lot has been put in place by the government as well.
Right, security is beefed up. You have told us about the preparations. Atmosphere also, the consecration ceremony will be held on 22nd of January at the sacred city of Ayodhya. But briefly, Meghna, prominent guests will be coming in. You're saying that saints have already started coming in. Do you have the list of the prominent guests who will be part of the ceremony on 22nd?
Undoubtedly, we will be seeing a number of important VIPs, dignitaries at the event. Not only Indian dignitaries, celebrities, VIPs, ministers, and much more, but also we'll be seeing people from across the globe, prominent people from across the globe who are also expected to come here for this ceremony. Besides that, we have been seeing a number of seen on social media that how people are posting their pictures of getting the invite to come at the ceremony. So that says it all, that there are a number of people who are really excited just getting the invitation and so excited to be here. So we must be seeing, from cricketers to film stars to much more. So people, ambassadors are also expected of different countries. We can also expect a number of people from obviously the political circle, a number of people who have been associated with this, and definitely the saints who have already started arriving at the.
All right, Meghna, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest from Ayodhya. Moving on, in anticipation of the imminent grand consecration ceremony of Lord Ram Temple in the Indian city of Ayodhya on 22nd January, Uttar Pradesh Anti-Terrorist Squad commandos deployed at the Lata Mangeshkar Chowk. With just 48 hours to the grand consecration ceremony of Lord Ram Temple in the Indian city of Ayodhya, National Disaster Response Force has set up a camp near the shrine in Ayodhya to respond to contingencies. The deployment has been done in coordination with the locals. A mesmerizing rangoli or floor art from the western Indian city of Surat has been dedicated to the Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya. The rangoli has been made by the Mota Mandir Yuvak Mandal and Ami Charitable Trust. It is 11,111 square feet and took 12 hours to be made. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has shared hymns and stories of Lord Ram sung by people of Mauritius. In a tweet, PM wrote, and I quote him, "The wonderful people of Mauritius have preserved their traditions, and this includes Ram Bhakti through kathas and bhajans. Great to see such deep cultural roots and devotion thriving for so many years." And amid the ongoing events and celebrations across the globe ahead of the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram in Ayodhya on January 22nd, a special Tesla light show was seen in Maryland in the United States. The event symbolized the peaceful fusion of modernity and tradition while transforming skyline into an amazing sight. And Japan's Moon Sniper lander touched down on the lunar surface on Saturday. The Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency said with this, Japan has become the 5th nation to put a spacecraft to the moon. But the agency said that it will still be checking its status as its solar panels were not able to generate electricity. The smart lander for investigating moon, or SLIM, came down onto the lunar surface at around 12:20 a.m. Tokyo time on Saturday. No astronauts were on board the spacecraft. And several people gathered late at night in a Japanese city hall to witness the successful landing of the spacecraft. Other than Japan, only 4 nations, the former Soviet Union, the United States, China and India, have achieved a soft landing on the moon's surface.
Spacecraft has been transmitting data normally to the station in Japan. We are also able to confirm that the spacecraft is receiving commands correctly from Earth and responding to them. However, at the moment, we are not able to confirm that the solar panels are generating electricity.
All right, we'll slip into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Iran carries out an air defense drills amid tensions in West Asia. New Zealand's Maori indigenous people hold meeting to discuss the future of their rights under the country's new government.
We are taking up the legend of our great epic, the Ramayana. and how it has influenced so many parts of Asia and beyond.
In Indonesia, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Singapore, Malaysia, you can think of all these areas where Ramayana is like, that it's just a living thing. And their ballets and their dances and the music, they are all performing. It is just not itihasa alone, history alone, but it's a living being which has a place in every heart.
We are taking up the legend of our great epic, the Ramayana, and how it has influenced so many parts of Asia and beyond.
In Indonesia, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Singapore, Malaysia, you can think of all these areas where Ramayana is like, that it's just a living thing. And their ballets and their dances and the music, they are all performing. It is just not itihasa alone, history alone, but it's a living being which has a place in every heart.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we have done so far. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi offers prayers at Sri Ranganathaswamy Temple in Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, takes blessings from Gajraj in the temple premises. An Israeli airstrike on Syrian capital Damascus kills 4 members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. US President Joe Biden holds discussions with Netanyahu on the two-state solution in a telephonic conversation, affirms the possibility of a Palestinian state. The United Nations said the world body is very concerned about North Korea's test of its underwater nuclear weapon system. UN spokesman Stephen Dujarric, in a media briefing, reiterated the Secretary General's call for de-escalation and the full implementation of Security Council resolutions.
We've seen this development and we remain concerned and very concerned about the current situation on the Korean Peninsula. Again, the Secretary General reiterates his call for de-escalation, the full implementation of Security Council resolutions, and for the creation of an environment that's conducive to dialogue and the resumption of talks, of diplomatic talks, which are frankly the only possible path forward.
And amid rising regional tensions, Iran on Friday said that it successfully carried out an air defense drill using drones designed to intercept hostile targets from its southwestern to southeastern coast. On Thursday, Pakistan launched airstrikes against what it said were separatist militants inside Iran. All right, we'll go across now to Rameshwaram, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is at the Ranganathaswamy Temple. So these are the visuals that we are showing you from Rameshwaram. Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Ranganathaswamy Temple performing darshan and puja and continuing the practice being observed during Prime Minister's visit to multiple temples in the last few days, wherein he attends Ramayana chanting in various languages such as Marathi, Malayalam and Telugu in this temple. He is also scheduled to attend a program which is Sri Ramayana Parayan. So these are the visuals we are showing you from Rameshwaram. Prime Minister Narendra Modi performing darshan and puja. And the program that we were talking about, 8 different traditional mandalis will recite the Sanskrit, Awadhi, Kashmiri, Gurmukhi, Assamese, Bengali, Maithili and Gujarati Ram Kathas, recounting the episode of Sri Ram's return to Ayodhya. And clearly this is in line with Bharatiya cultural ethos and bonding, which is at the core of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. And in Ranganathaswamy Temple, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also participate in Bhajan Sandhya, where multiple devotional songs would be sung at the temple complex in the evening. So these are the visuals we are getting you from Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. So the sacred land of Rameshwaram, located at the tip of Indian Peninsula in an illustrious temple town of southern state of Tamil Nadu, one of the most visited towns in the state. Rameshwaram is among the Char Dham sites and the home of one of the 12 Jyotirling shrines in India, and one of the 2 Jyotirlinga shrines in South India, that is Ranganathaswamy Temple, and the other Jyotirlinga shrine being Sri Mallikarjun Swami Temple. So Rameshwaram is associated with the ancient Indian epic Ramayana in some manner, and the town is typically regarded as the land of Lord Ram. Lord Ram, 7th avatar of Lord Vishnu, believed to have worshipped Lord Shiva here in Rameshwaram. And being an important pilgrimage place, Rameshwaram receives hundreds of thousands national and international visitors throughout the year, regardless of the seasons. And what is more, Rameshwaram comprises of 64 tirthams in and around on the island. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi is at Rameshwaram performing darshan and puja. So Ranganathaswamy Hindu temple dedicated to Hindu god Lord Shiva, located on the Rameshwaram island in the state of Tamil Nadu, and one of the 12 Jyotirling temples. These are the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi performing puja at the Ranganathaswamy Temple in Rameshwaram. All right, we'll keep giving you updates on that. Moving on to our next story now. Calling drug trafficking a regional problem, Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa asked the governments in the Latin American zone to take a united front in the war against it. Noboa was speaking to a Colombian media outlet on Friday, and during his interview, he added that Ecuador will also make efforts to extradite foreign prisoners from Ecuadorian prisons.
I think the region, not only Colombia, has allowed for this problem to grow in an uncontrolled way. We must stay together to fight this. It is a regional and worldwide problem. The consumption of these products is in United States, in Europe. There is an old agreement about prisoners exchange. Our law says that any foreign prisoner with a sentence of 5 years or more can be returned to its country. We have an overflow of over 3,000 people in our prisons. Today, besides the fact we cannot handle the amount of prisoners we have, as a nation we are spending more money in foreign prisoners than in the school breakfast for a child.
An Argentine authorities detained and deported family and associates of the fugitive Ecuadorian drug trafficker Jose Adolfo Macias, who had escaped from the Ecuadorian prison on January 7th. Addressing a media conference, Argentine Security Minister Patricia Bullrich informed that a total of 8 people were detained who had arrived in Argentina in early January. Also known as Fito, Macias was serving a 34-year sentence for various crimes, including drug trafficking and murder. And more than 10,000 people belonging to the Maori indigenous group congregated in New Zealand's central North Island to discuss their response to the government's plans regarding their rights and status. Maori people are protesting against the current New Zealand's centre-right coalition, which is undergoing the policies of previous governments which promoted the official use of the Maori language.
There's no principles, the treaty is written, that's it. New Zealand is the easiest country to change a law. Each government comes in, oh, we don't like that law, we'll put a submission through, we'll change that. Yeah, they can change anything they like, but what I want is the treaty to be engrossed in the law that says that they can't change nothing.
An American actor, Alec Baldwin, was inducted for a second time by a grand jury in New Mexico on the charges of involuntary manslaughter for the shooting death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins on the set of the Western film Rust. Baldwin has been charged under 2 alternative bases of law, causing a death by negligent use of a firearm and by acting without due caution or circumspection. Baldwin was originally charged in January with involuntary manslaughter in Hutchins' death. The charges were dropped in April. The movie's chief weapons handler, Hannah Gutierrez, was also charged. And fire in Panama's largest landfill blew a toxic smoke in the country's capital. Firefighters battled through the night to control the flames. The country's health minister told reporters evacuations were being effected to protect residents from the flames and toxic gases. Health centers were also set up to treat cases of visual irritation and respiratory problems. All right, let's now take a look at other stories making news across the globe. A 65-year-old man was rescued by a state police officer with the help of the man's dog, Ruby, after he fell into a frozen lake in Michigan. The officer attached an orange rescue disc to the dog's collar. Through commands, Ruby was able to take the rescue disc to her owner, who was pulled to safety by the officer and a firefighter. A giraffe in Mexico named Benito is set to be relocated from a public park in Ciudad Juarez to a wildlife sanctuary in Puebla after activists of the group Save Benito denounced the poor conditions he was living in. Benito arrived in Ciudad Juarez in May 2023 to become the city's mascot, but was living alone in a small cage for the past 8 months. 44 Serbian Orthodox Christian worshippers took part in a winter swimming race at the Seganleja Lake in Belgrade in a ritual marking Epiphany celebrations on Friday. The ritual commemorates the baptism of Jesus Christ in the Jordan River. All right, time now for another short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Indian shuttlers Chirag Shetty, Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and HS Pranoy storm into the semi-finals of India Open. A lake in Wisconsin in US freezes as extreme cold weather grips the country.
We have reached here, this place, Makhoda Dam.
मख माने जो है यज्ञ होता है, तो इसी जगह पे जब दशरथ जी महाराज के पास जब कोई पुत्र नहीं था, तो चौथे पन में दशरथ जी महाराज ने इसी भूमि पे पुत्रेष्टि कामय यज्ञ किए थे.
अयोध्या में सभी तरफ भी राम है।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे।
Divine meets divinity in Ayodhya. This is Mani Parvat.
ये वो स्थल है जब मां जानकी जी विवाह होकर श्री अयोध्या जी पधारी। अपार धन वैभव ऐश्वर्य दिया श्री जनक जी महाराज ने कि हमारी बिटिया खूब सुख समृद्ध रहेगी।
सीता राम नाम कीर्तन।
एक कीर्तन है जो 12 साल का है, चलते रहेगा। 3.5 साल हो गया है।
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Republic Day parade rehearsals are in full swing in India's capital, Delhi, ahead of the 75th Republic Day celebrations on 26 January. The full dress rehearsal will take place on 23rd January. The French band also participated in the rehearsals. The security arrangements in New Delhi has been enhanced. The landing and takeoff of non-scheduled flights and charter flights have been restricted from 19th to 25th January. On 26 January, no flights will be allowed to take off or land during the restricted hours in Delhi. All right, weather updates now. The India Met Department has issued a forecast predicting dense to very dense fog conditions in North India for the next 5 days. Severe cold day conditions are also expected to prevail in various parts of the country in the coming days. The sudden dip in the weather conditions may cause lowering of visibility and disruption of rail and air traffic in the national capital. And millions of residents of the United States remain under the grip of extreme cold weather that brought snow, freezing temperatures and unsafe travel conditions. Heavy freezing rain warning issued as a new wave of extreme cold and snow is expected to sweep through the central and eastern United States, which may intensify travel hazards and ushering in a brutally cold weekend. The Federal Emergency Management Agency of U.S. launches a disaster relief reforms as climate-driven events such as floods, fires and cold have increased over the years. And Milwaukee in the state of Wisconsin gets frozen in snowy landscape days after snowstorms move across the region. Milwaukee was one of the major cities to be hit by the heaviest snowfall and blizzards last week. Damaging weather conditions delayed thousands of flights and cut off power to hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses across the U.S. A wind chill and advisory was placed for south central and southwestern Wisconsin. Authorities say cold temperatures to continue throughout the weekend. And Tesla drivers face challenges amid freezing temperatures in Chicago, as many of the cars sat in long lines at supercharger stations after the cold sapped the electric vehicles' normal ability to charge. Some endured hour-long waits in the bitter cold, leaving the car owners with vehicles they could no longer drive due to lack of power. The incident highlights the vulnerability of electric vehicles in extreme weather conditions. Tesla recommends maintaining a charge level above 20% when not plugged in to minimize the impact of cold temperatures on the battery. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sporting updates. India's Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Singh Thakur, says Khelo India Youth Games provides a platform to the budding sportsperson to showcase their talent.
If you look at the last 7 years, Khelo India platform has truly helped to identify and then nurture the talent in India. If you look at the Asian Games, 41 medals which has come, the Khelo India athletes have won those. That clearly shows from being a part of the Khelo India to the Target Olympic Podium scheme and various other schemes of the Government of India. They have taken the advantage and the benefit, and now they are performing extremely well at the international level. So I'm sure with the 6th edition of the Khelo India Youth Games, we're going to see much better competition this year. We're going to see many records to be broken, a new stars coming up at the national level, and I'm sure they're going to be the winners for the future as well.
All right, let's go across to Rameshwaram once again, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is there. He's taking part in the Ramayana part, which is happening in Assamese. Like we were telling you earlier in the program, 8 different traditional mandalis in fact will recite the Sanskrit, Awadhi, Kashmiri, Gurmukhi, Assamese, Bengali, Mathili and Gujarati Ramkathas, recounting the episode of Sri Ram's return to Ayodhya.
Sorry.
All right, so these were the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi attending Ramayan Path in Rameshwar's Ranganathaswamy Temple. Now, let's go back to our sports story where Khelo India Youth Games are being held in Tamil Nadu. We'll go across to Chennai where DD India's Deepika is joining us live. Deepika, good evening. Tell us how's the buzz there and atmosphere there in Chennai for Khelo India Youth Games and also the events that are being held and were held today.
Good evening, Abhishek. The buzz is really high-spirited over here in Chennai, and especially for the Tamil Nadu players. They won a gold medal, and they once started with kabaddi, but today we saw many women participation, especially in the sport of fencing. Now, you remember, Abhishek, when we remember the time in 2016 Olympics, Bhavani Devi was the only player to represent India in the sport of fencing at Olympic level. But now when we talk to the players today, they told us that how the Khelo India teams are helping them, and because of the Khelo India team, they are getting foreign coaches to train for the sport of fencing. So this is the difference that everyone is noticing, and especially we heard this from the Tamil Nadu players. And now having the Khelo India Games itself here in Tamil Nadu for the first time was a great excitement for them. They are aiming for a gold medal, and they are perfectly taking this platform as a perfect opportunity for themselves to grab a gold medal for themselves at Olympics level as well. This is what they are dreaming of, and they also say that through the help of Khelo India Youth Games, their dreams are getting bigger and bolder every day, Abhishek.
Right, Deepika, and also tell us about the level of competition there. I mean, it's about promoting the sports at the grassroots level, and this is in fact the biggest platform for the athletes.
Especially when we talk about the sport, Abhishek, which is squash, which has been included in Khelo India Youth Games this time. And Mariyappan is one of the players who is participating in squash as well, because you talked about the level of athletes who are participating. And you would remember in yesterday's opening ceremony, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in fact, the Union Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, he mentioned about Mariyappan, that how Tamil Nadu is creating many milestones in the sport. And Mariyappan is one example of it, how he is leading the baton. And he is also participating in sports. Today was his tournament. He is currently playing in sports tournament. And apart from that, we have many young players as well. Today two twins bagged a gold medal in the sport of yogasan. Those are just 10 years and 11 years of age. So this is the level of sports that we are expecting here, and the level of participation. It comes from all walks of life. We are witnessing experienced players, a mix of experienced players, as well as the young players, the budding players, right from the grassroots level, who are learning the new technique from their seniors. Appreciate.
All right, Deepika, thank you for the time being. We'll leave it at that, but we'll keep taking updates from you. All right, from Khelo India, we'll move to badminton stories now. India's Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy will take on So Woo Yik and Aaron Chia of Malaysia in the semi-finals of the India Open Super 750 Series badminton tournament in New Delhi. The Indian duo registered a dominating 21-7, 21-10 victory against Kim Astrup and Anders Rasmussen of Denmark in the quarterfinals. While HS Pranoy had to fight hard to secure his maiden semi-finals berth in the tournament, he defeated Wang Zhuwei of Chinese Taipei in the quarterfinals. The 31-year-old recovered from a slump in the second game and showed nerves of steel in the decider to eke out a 21-11, 17-21, 21-18 victory. The world number 9 will face 6th seed Shi Yuqi of China in the last 4 games. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.